Time values, lesson 1. We write musical notes in a variety of ways to indicate what their time value is. When you're reading music, you're actually reading a very complicated set of instructions telling you all kinds of things, but the main two things are which notes to play, we call that the pitch, and also how long to play the notes for, that's their time value. The longest note in current use at the moment is that one at the top of this table, and it's traditionally known as a semibreve or whole note. They last as long as two of these, which are known as minims or half notes. They last as long as two of these, which are crotchets or quarter notes, and they last as long as two of these, which are quavers or eighth notes. The space at the bottom of this table represents what we call a bar of music. When you look at sheet music, you notice that the staves are divided with vertical lines. We call these vertical lines bar lines, and the space in between two bar lines is a bar. And a bar of music is a visual representation of what we call a group of beats. So what do we mean by a group of beats? First of all, what is the beat? Well, when we listen to music, we are aware of a regular pulse, a bit like a heartbeat. It's something that we respond to. We find ourselves tapping our feet to, clapping to, dancing to, and they always come in groups of 2, 3, or 4. And what makes them feel like they're in a group of 2, 3, or 4 is that the first beat is always a strong beat or a loud beat, and the others are weaker. So for instance, 2 time, 2 beats in a bar feels like this. 1, 2, loud, soft. 3 time feels like 1, 2, 3, loud, soft, soft. The 2 numbers to the left-hand side of this bar are what we call the time signature. Now, there are 2 numbers. They are both the same in this case, 4. We call this 4/4 time, but the 2 numbers actually tell you 2 different things. The top 4 tells you the number of beats per bar. In other words, is this in groups of 2, 3, or 4? And the bottom one is a bit harder to understand. It's the time value of the beat, because any of these different time values can represent 1 beat. If we look at the names on the right-hand side, I like to think of them as what I call mathematical names, and then read that time signature as though it was a fraction, 4/4. It's actually telling you exactly what it means, that it's 4 quarter note beats per bar. In other words, each one of these is 1 beat long. So if that is 1 beat long, that is 2 beats long, and that is 4 beats long. And you're going to get 2 of those on 1 beat. The numbers at the bottom are the beats. The plus signs in brackets, I've put those in brackets because you don't need to actually use those all the time. We tend to say "and" when we've got a pair of quavers. So I'll come down to that when we get down to putting some quavers in this bar. Let's start off by just dragging the semibreve, the whole note, down to the bottom, and I'll just move that to the right a little bit, and you see that that now fills the bar. So the way you would play that is you would play the note on beat 1, and you would count 4 beats and then start playing. So like this. If I do it on the piano, 1, 2, 3, 4, off. Okay, let's move that back up to the top, and now we're going to put 2 minims in. Okay, so this now sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, because each minim takes up 2 beats. So the first one starts on beat 2, starts on beat 1, lasts for beat 2. The second one starts on beat 3 and lasts for beat 4. I'll do that one again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, let's put that minim back and just edge that up a little bit and put 2 crotchets in now. So the 2 crotchets just take up 1 beat each. This sounds like this now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's now take one of the crotchets out and put 2 quavers in. Now this is where the ands come in. We can say the and on the second quaver. It helps when you've got something to say on every note. You don't have to say it, but it often helps when you're learning these rhythms to begin with. So from the beginning now, that sounds like this. 1, 2, and 3, 4. You notice that the beat, the 1, 2, 3, 4, remains constant. That doesn't vary at all. What's varying is the time values that we're putting over these beats. And that leads us to the 2 terms rhythm and beat, because in everyday language we tend to use those 2 terms often to mean the same thing. They are very connected, but they do mean 2 different things. The beat is the regular pulse that ticks away like a clock. 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't vary at all. The rhythm is the combination of different lengths of notes and also rests, which are silences. We'll come on to those in further videos. So the beat of this bar is 1, 2, 3, 4. The rhythm of it is 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, let's put that minim back and put it up there. Whoops. And now let's put another crotchet on beat 3 and 2 quavers on beat 4. So we've now got this rhythm. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Or I will play that on the piano. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. So you can see how you can use these different time values to fill up the bar, and they produce different rhythms. By the way, the time values carry on further than that. They don't stop at 8th notes. They go right the way down to 64th notes, which are also known as hemi, demi, semi quavers. That's quite a mouthful. And I will deal with some of these time values together with rests in further videos. And in further videos, I'm going to produce quite a lot of counting and clapping, or counting and playing exercises. What I usually find with this is that the more you practice tapping a rhythm out or playing a rhythm out and counting it, the more you get to understand it. And eventually you get so that you recognize groups of different time values as a particular rhythm. So a bit like when you read, you don't look at a word and think of the individual letters in that word. You look at it as a whole. And that's the same thing that happens when you learn to read rhythms like this. Hope you found that useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you.